If I had $1 for every time a man told me they could handle me, or I'm not tripping on what you do, what about I'm fine with just sex? Nah, you don't catch no feelings. I'd be somewhere on somebody's island drinking margaritas. Ladies, y'all ever been there? Fellas, I'm gonna need y'all to listen to this podcast and let me know if any of this rings true. Can men really handle what they ask for? Do they really want a sexually free woman that isn't afraid to own who she is? Or do they just like the idea of it? And why is it the moment a sexually free woman decides not to entertain, now all of a sudden she becomes a hoe, right? Do women have the same right in society to be just as sexually liberated, if not more? Because we all know that women get it in more than men, but we'll get into that, right? Do women in society have the right to be just as sexually liberated as a man? Or are we faced with double standards?
Toxic. Love, love. Silver whiskey. Love, love. Indeed. Let's talk about it. We ain't sipping no tea, sipping no whiskey. No, we don't make love, but we fuck when we get tipsy. We not no shame in our game. Ain't there nothing wrong, cause this for the ground.
All right, ladies and gents, this evening I am sipping on, as you can see if you're watching the video, we have this good Uncle Nearest rye whiskey, 100 proof. Now, I've talked about Uncle Nearest before, and I've even talked about rye whiskey before. So if y'all want to go back and check those episodes from past seasons, feel free. But the reason I actually really love Uncle Nearest is a bunch of reasons. His story is dope, from being the first documented African American distiller who actually set up who am I trying to think of, y'all? Y'all know who I'm talking about. Tennessee whiskey. Check that out. His story is just dope, and it's amazing to go to the actual distillery because it's located here in Tennessee. And we travel there often. Now, this bottle came from the liquor store, but I do have a single barrel bottle of Uncle Nearest rye whiskey that I'm keeping because it's the first edition from barrel number 1. It's signed, dated, all that good stuff. But let me get into the flavors. So Uncle Nearest is really, really good. Black woman owned business, so you know I'm here for it. But the actual whiskey is delicious. It's like up there with high-end brands that cost triple and double what a bottle of Uncle Nearest costs. I like rye whiskey because it gives it a different flavor. Now, it's a little bit more dry. Everybody doesn't love rye, but I'm weird and I love it. It has oaky flavors, notes of vanilla. It's really good. Y'all just need to taste it. I'm gonna sip on it all night. I put a little bit of Coke in here so I'm not too toe up while y'all watching me, and you can understand what I'm saying, okay? So, Uncle Nearest rye whiskey. Now, let's get into it. We talking free spirit or hoe. Can men truly handle a sexually liberated woman? Now, Wilt Chamberlain admitted to having sex with over 1,000 women. 1,000. Was he canceled? No. Men wanted to know his secret. How did he get that many women? What did he do for stamina? Blah, blah, blah. And this was over 30 years ago. Now, let a woman in 2025, right now, say she's been with 20 men and see what happened. I'm talking about instantly, she slimed out. She going. You know, they be like, A pussy must be big. It's throwing hot dogs down the hallway, as my friend Nardo would say. Shout out Nardo. But why is that? Let's dig into the psyche a little bit and try to understand where this double standard actually comes from. Where was this double standard started in modern society? Now, this can go back to season 2 and my podcast, Don't Call Me Your Queen. For those of you who missed that episode, I discussed the reason I don't want my man to treat me like a queen. Main reason because queens were treated horribly. Let's be real. They were property of the crown, to be seen and not heard, trophy wives, pawns in the royal game of chess, and were not sexually liberated at all. Now, kings could have all the wives, concubines, mistresses, and still visit the brothels, and no one would blink an eye. So, yeah, y'all keep that queen shit to yourself. I'm good. The point is that women have always been looked at as a possession or something for a man to play with and move on. Now, this messes with me because if society is giving men high fives for being the sexual beings they were created to be, who the hell does the society think they fucking? I mean, seriously, if it's okay for a man to sleep with a lot of women, but those same women are shamed if they admit that they were the ones that those same men slept with, what are we doing? Like, I'm still trying to wrap my brain around it, right? How is it okay that a man can say, hey, I slept with a whole bunch of women, and everybody is intrigued, and everybody's like, oh, that's a man. Men gonna do what men do. But if a woman says, hey, I was one of those women that man that you just high five slept with, now they a hoe, and now they wrong. Like, how does that work? Because who do y'all think that these men are sleeping with? Like, I know they be sleeping with other dudes too, but that's a whole nother story. But we gonna stay on topic. All right. So let's go another direction. Men, listen closely. Okay. Because I need y'all to really hear and comprehend what I'm about to say to y'all. Okay. Stop thinking you made the choice to have sex. Did y'all hear me? Let me see. Can I get a little closer to the camera? Stop thinking that you made the choice to have sex. Now, the only way you made that choice is if you raping somebody, but we ain't talking about rape today. Why do y'all think, or men have a tendency to overthink and think that they are the ones that are choosing women to have sex with, when in actuality, women are out here choosing you? Because a woman knows within 2 minutes, probably faster, as soon as you walk, we know if you are fuckable or not. Wrap that around your brain. True story. Now, you can mess it up and talk yourself out of becoming fuckable, because that has happened plenty of times. And also, if we're not necessarily attracted to you from the jump, and it's a question if you fuckable or not, or even if we like, no, we're not even putting him in that like category, you can talk yourself into it. Really, you don't even have to talk yourself into it. You just need to like pay attention, answer questions, and be an active listener, because you can talk yourself into being somebody that we want to fuck, right? But 9 times out of 10, ladies, y'all let me know if it's real. We already know from the jump, from the moment we see you, based off of physical principles, and then when you start talking, if we want to fuck you within 2 minutes, right? We decide who we want. These are straight up facts. We are just trained to play coy and make men feel like they are in charge. We got to stroke that male ego, because that's just how society has taught us, right? Which leads me to my point. When a woman is sexually liberated and vocal about what she wants, what now? This dynamic is out of the norm. And I know a lot of men that claim they would love it. Ooh, they love a woman who knows what she wants, takes charge sexually. They say that they can handle a woman being in charge of her sexuality. But in reality, they can't, right? Now I'm speaking from personal experience and experience of women that I know. So let me just share a little story for y'all. And homeboy, if you listening, bless your heart. Don't do no comments and don't respond because you gonna tell on yourself, all right? You can DM me personally if that's what you want to do. But let me share a little story with y'all. So what I said was is that most men from my experience can't handle a sexually charged or a sexually liberated woman, a woman who knows what they want and isn't afraid to go out and get it. Now, in 2025, this younger generation is a little bit more bold, right? And it's becoming a little bit more acceptable for women to hit on men or make passes at men and like go after what they want. But I'm 40 years old and that was not the case when I was coming up, teenager, early 20s, things of that nature. It still really isn't now. I think the girls just out here just going, like they just gonna do what they want to do because, anyway, that's a whole nother topic. Let me take a sip. Back to story time. Stay focused, Leah, because y'all know I be rambling. So, before and during, well, I'm gonna start with before. Before I got with Eric, who y'all know I'm with now, right? Been together for like 18 and a half years. It's been a really long time. But before we became official and before we even started messing around, actually, I was messing with this one dude. He shall remain anonymous as long as he don't start clowning. But I was messing with this one dude. Um, didn't like him like a boyfriend like him, you know what I'm saying? I was coming out of a volatile marriage, abusive marriage to a dude that I had not touched in damn near a year and had not touched me, right? So I was primed and ready to go. All of that to say, I remember somebody talking about this dude and he was cool. We knew each other. And I remember her saying, like, that he could get it in. And I don't even remember how we ran across each other, probably on social media some type of way. And we decided to hook up. So, of course, I have my initial spiel. Y'all, I do this with all the dudes that I have ever talked to. Y'all can chime in if you want to. Y'all know it's true. I, at that time, was not looking for any type of relationship because, like I said, I was just coming out of a 3-year marriage. It wasn't nobody trying to dive straight into nothing. I just wanted to get some, right? Let's just be honest. I wanted to be broke off and satisfied and then, go back home. And that's exactly what happened. Anyway, I would give my speech every time that I started one of these sexual relationship only with a dude. It wasn't that many, but it was a few. This one in particular became the main one because, he could fuck. But anyway, sorry, y'all know how I get. But I give my speech and I say, hey, I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm not looking for anything serious. We don't have to date. You ain't got to take me out. I'm not going to take you out. We don't need to be seen in public together. You got a girl, that's your business. Don't tell me. I don't have nothing to do with it. All I'm going to tell you is don't fall in love. Don't want a relationship. And don't start tripping if you see me out with somebody else or you contact me and, I ain't got time. Right? Let me tell you what happens every single time. Never fail. Dude is always like, bet. That's exactly what I want. You ain't got to tell me this. You listen. You don't fall in love. You don't catch feelings. I'm good with just a fucking relationship. They don't be good, y'all. They don't be good at all. This particular dude, this type of arrangement lasted, I would say, almost a year. I don't know that it was a year. I'm just gonna say almost a year. I'm gonna give him that much time. And y'all, I literally did not see this man in the daylight. Like, so you already know what it was. I didn't see him in the daylight. He lived relatively close to me. So again, I had a child, an infant at the time, and I would put my infant to bed. You know, I was living with my folks at the time, so it wasn't like I was leaving them by myself, but I would dip out 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 9 o'clock, whatever time it was, but the sun was fucking down. I would dip out and go to his apartment and see him, you know, get broke off because it is what it is. I was a sexually liberated female and I needed to get mine. And that was our arrangement. That had always been our arrangement. It lasted well for about 2 months, 2 or 3 months, where there really wasn't any tripping going on. I did notice that after time he want to have conversations, and if he knew I was coming over, he straightened up, and he'd start having some music playing and some candles, you know, creating a mood. Okay, I'm here for a mood. I'm good with it. Then it turned into asking me what I wanted to eat, and did I want desserts and all kinds of stuff like that. And now I'm like, nah, I ain't trying to eat. I'm trying to, you know, fuck. Like, let's have sex. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so I ignored it, and as time progressed, it became, well, why don't we go out to eat, boy, and then we can go back to the crib? No, sir. I'm not trying to go on a date. Like, you know what it is, drop them draws, let's get it in. And then it became, okay, I'm gonna tell y'all TMI. But anyway, so he had these like little chewies. We call them penny candy in the hood, right? The little fruit chewies that you get from the candy lady, or you know, they used to be penny candy. So he had those, and like I love the penny candy, so I was eating it. And so he noticed that I liked them, and so he would always have like a little dish full of the penny candy there, right? And I was like, oh, okay, you know, cool. I'm gonna eat the penny candy. So one night in particular, we were over there, got it in, all good. Now, mind you, I'm not laying up in your bed. I'm not cuddling with you because that's not what this is. Now, I knew that this man was catching feelings because you know when somebody catching feelings, but I just chose to ignore it and didn't talk to him about it because, you know, I found out he had a girlfriend that he was supposedly serious about. Again, y'all be mad at me, hate on me, whatever you want to say, not my problem. I wasn't cheating on her. He was cheating on her. We entered into an agreement and an arrangement, so I digress. Anyway, um, we entered into this agreement and he knew what it was. I wasn't trying to be his girlfriend, wasn't asking him to be my man, wasn't asking him to do anything but, you know, give me some good when it's needed. So it started, like I said, with, oh, let's go out to eat, or let's meet up at the movies, or, you know, while I'm there afterwards, you know, you can take a shower here, or, you know, you can bring some clothes and you can spend the night. No, sir. No, I can't spend the night. I got a whole child at home that I'm finna go back to, and I'm finna get in my own bed because you know what it is. This man started buying them damn chewies in bulk and putting them on the side of the bed. I was like, what you think I am? Like some type of little rat or something that you can capture and keep there because I'm gonna eat chewies. He like, oh, I bought your favorite chewies. Okay, appreciate it. Grabbed the bowl, dumped it in my purse. I moved on with my life. Now let's fast forward through this store. I began to see that, you know, he wasn't gonna be able to handle it. It wasn't going to be, you know, the situation that I thought it was gonna be. Now, mind you, again, he wasn't the only one. He wasn't my only sneaky link, as they call it now, but he was the main one. You know what I'm saying? Because he was the one that was putting it down. However, fast forward into the later days of our situationship when he was really tripping, really trying to talk to me, really wanting me to be his girlfriend, even though he had one. I started messing with Eric. Because if y'all went through season 1 and the previous seasons, y'all know me and Eric started off as sneaky links. Not even really sneaky links. We just was messing off, one trying to have no relationship. But Eric was putting it down. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So you go to where they putting it down and where it's less drama. So I had to break it off with this dude. I was like, you know what? This ain't working for me. You getting attached. Um, it's just not the same situation. This is not what I agreed to. And this is not what you agreed to. You got me caught up in here. This man actually had his whole girlfriend come over to the apartment while I was there in hopes that it was going to keep me in the back room. Bruh, do y'all know I put my clothes on, walked through the apartment while she was in there, told that girl what's up, and kept walking? She was like, bitch, who are you? I was like, baby, I'm not your problem. Talk to your man. I was like, catch you next weekend, same time, same place. Yeah, I was wrong for that. But I wasn't finna be held captive in his back room because he was trying to, on purpose, make me stay there. I had things to do. I gave him 5 minutes. That was 5 minutes too long. So I had to walk through the situation. He caught what he caught, right? After that is when we did the whole breakup thing. And I was like, I'm moving on. It just isn't working for me. This man had a whole full blown meltdown, y'all. Like, he for real got real upset and real angry. And who you talking to? And who is it? Who is nigga you talking to? I'ma fuck him up. It tickled me because his feelings was really hurt. Y'all, his feelings was really hurt. He thought like I was the one and he wanted to be with me, and he don't know why I was tripping and acting like that because I gotta have feelings for him and all this jazz, to the point where like he was legit in my DMs on social media on some marry me shit. It was really funny. And if you listen, I'm not making fun of you. I'm just telling it how it is. And this is just my personal example of how I know that most men traditionally cannot handle a sexually liberated woman. Now let me take a little Uncle Nearest break. Okay. So after we broke up, I actually started my relationship with Eric. But here's the funny thing, y'all. They knew each other. They hooped together. Eric knew about him, but he didn't know about Eric. So this whole time he messaging me and like texting me and trying to figure out who it is, talking about he gonna fight him. Y'all hooping together. You ain't got to fight him. Anyway, that's my personal story about how I know one of them, just one of them, that most men cannot handle a sexually liberated woman. They really can't go through the motions of just, having sex or just being in a sexual relationship with a woman, right? Now, to play devil's advocate, some women out here do the same thing, right? There's a lot of women who do be out here catching bodies. Let's just be real. They catch bodies left or right with no discernment. And that's cool. Do you? This is a non-judgment zone, judgment-free zone, however the world isn't, right? So a lot of times people get it convoluted and think that a woman who is just out here non-discriminate, giving it up to whoever and whomever, is the same as a sexually liberated or sexually free woman who has some discernment and just making the choice to just be sexually active and, being responsible in the situation. Those are not the same thing, right? But let's talk about a hoe. Like, what is a hoe? When I think of a hoe, when I fix my mouth to call somebody a hoe, like when I'm like, you a hoe, I don't honestly think of really associating it with sex, right? Hoe is more of a defamation of character for me, right? Like, you a hoe. I don't know your sexual preferences and what you be doing in the bedroom. When I call you a hoe, like I'm dissing you, like that's me defaming you, right? That's a defamation of character for me. It's more about the intent and the meaning behind the actions, right, than just the word. So like if a woman sleeps with a man knowing full well he's in a relationship and does it because she can, or just to be spiteful. Now I'm saying that they do this not in a situationship, because I know I just told y'all that I figured out that the old boy was in a relationship and maybe that was a little whole activity. But I'm saying that this is her MO and this is what she does. Y'all know, and girls, we always got one of them friends or got somebody that's got a story where we know this what they do. This is their MO. They on purpose go out and seek out married men or men that's in relationships just to be spiteful, right? That's a hoe. If a woman lets a man fuck her and come up and uses her vagina as an ATM, that's a hoe. Like, y'all get what I'm saying? If I'm gonna use my vagina as a weapon in order to get things or get money and trips and things from a dude, like, I don't care what y'all say, that's a hoe. Like, that's textbook definition of what a hoe is. But don't get it twisted. A man can be every bit of a hoe as a woman. As a matter of fact, I know more men that's hoes than women. But again, circling back to my point, society is so much quicker to throw that word out when describing a woman. How many of y'all have actually heard, in this case, a man being called a hoe in the same context as a woman? Very rarely do y'all hear that, right? All right. So now that I got that out of my system. So what do y'all think? What is the difference between specifically a woman being a hoe and a woman who knows and owns her sexuality and curates her own sexual experiences? Why is there such a huge gap between what's okay for men and what's okay for women? At the end of the day, can men really settle down and accept a free-spirited woman that's comfortable in her own body? Whether that's as a wife, a girlfriend, or just a fuck buddy. As I said before, in my personal experiences, men can't handle that shit. They can't handle what they ask for. They can't handle a woman with a bigger body count than them, or one that set the stage for their sexual relationships. Right? Now, this is in general, because I know y'all gonna DM me and message me and be like, oh, yeah, Leah, I can handle it, blah, blah, blah. Now, there are exceptions to the rules. I got me one, but I'm just saying, right? All right. I'm not bashing men because I love me a good man. I got me a good man. I love men, right? And I do know that there are men out there that can indeed handle whatever a woman throws their way and do it with patience and grace and love, because I got me one, right? Okay. Now, ladies, don't be afraid to reclaim your sexual experiences. Be intentional of who you allow to touch you and experience your goodness. Now, that's the biggest difference between a hoe and someone who's just sexually experienced, right? Intention. Let's be intentional on who you allow to touch you. Now, it can be 500 dudes, even if it's 200 men. Pick those 200 men wisely and leave a lasting impression on them motherfuckers, okay? You was here, you did that, right? Your body, your pleasure, your choice. Keep fucking and snatching souls, ladies. Y'all know what time it is. Coming up next week on Sex.Love.Whiskey. All right, guys. So this evening, I have a special guest with me in the studio, Miss Brandy Flynn. Hi. I ain't even asked you if you want me to put your whole government out there like this.
That's fine. They see my face, so they know who it is.
Well, Miss Brandy is in the house.
and the Sex.Love.Whiskey then.
Oh,
Okay. If you are practicing, we're not gonna say this because that's not true.
yeah.
If you are practicing abstinence, do you? I don't have any problem with somebody practicing abstinence. I'm saying that is not me.
All right.
That's not for me. But those of you who are or interested in or were thinking about it, I'm just trying to give y'all some perspective.
All right.
Right.
So I have something to share with you.
Share that. Well, I said.
I am one of the few people that has not been partaking in sex.
I think
She didn't know this. She didn't know this. So let me explain. So
I'm here for it. Like, you a firm believer and it's your religious ideas and your morals and your values. Like, stand on that shit. Like, 10 toes down. I am here for it. This is a judgment-free zone. I say that all the time.
definitely.
Like, do you? Because I'm definitely going to do me. So,
About it.
do you? Yeah, she drank it all, y'all. So, it must be real good. But anyway, y'all know I ain't got no problems back to do you. Love who you want to love in my Ray J boys. You know what I'm saying? I done dabbled in the rainbow, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, I ain't got no problems. But I don't really even think it. Sure, that's a whole nother topic, baby. But anyway, I mean, it's gotta be a bad bitch. But anyway, we'll talk about that later, okay? Don't slide in my DMs though. Well, maybe slide in my DMs. So, religious beliefs. That's definitely
That's yeah.
and then celibacy.
Yeah, for actual
Celibacy.
But so let me say this. I really wish that these religious beliefs, I'm not knocking the religious beliefs, but I really wish it was on men as much as it is on women. Like, you giving these girls these purity rings, these purity balls. You talk that you make women feel ashamed, but you don't say anything to the men.
Unless you are trying to devote your life as a fucking monk, a priest, a nun, and you know they be getting it anyway, but we ain't gonna talk about that. As some type of religious being, you are abstinent, not celibate, right? Let's include that in there. Because when you celibate, you can have sexual relationship with your damn self. Right? Baby, you abstinent, not celibate. All right. And kudos to you. Because that takes a lot of self-restraint, baby, that I just don't get. All right.